Hey guys, it's Mr. Morrow again with a very special edition of Morrow Forgot to Attach the Homework. So here is just a video just on the homework. This is not the actual lesson. This is just going over the homework, so at least you have those answers. So let's do this fairly quickly. So, the graph of the function is shown at the right. Which of the following could be the equation that describes this graph? Again, for all my students, y equals, yes, calculator. Just type it in, see which one looks like that. That should have been easy. And remember, you can always pause the screen if I'm going too fast. So find the value of y when given x value. Again, just type in 6 cubed, you get 216. That was pretty easy. You just had to substitute the 3 wherever you see the x. In this case, it's -6. When you type that in, you get 64. Any questions? No. Here we go. Circle each exponential function. There wasn't just one. So again, if the exponent is a variable, then it's exponential. No, that's a 3. That's not a variable. That's a variable. That's not a variable. That's a variable. Yay. All right, not so bad. Okay, the bottom part, is it linear or exponential? Remember, it's linear if you're adding or subtracting, and it's exponential if you're multiplying and technically dividing, but not really technically dividing. All right, so how do you get? Add 2, add 2, add 2. It's linear. Remember Croc? Constant rate of change. Yes, linear. So if it says explain, actually it didn't say explain, so you didn't even have to write an explanation. But if you wanted to, you would have written linear because it's a constant rate of change. Now for this one, how do you get from 6 to 12? Multiply by 2. How do you get from 12 to 24? Multiply by 2. How do you get from 24 to 48? Multiply by 2. So then that's exponential. So you wouldn't say a constant rate of change because rate of change means it's adding. So it's a common ratio or a common factor. And the common factor is 2. And again, all you have to do, you could have taken the second number divided by the first one. Take the second number divided by the first one and so on. All right. Any questions? No. Okay, again, f of x is another way of saying y equals. Just type it in. That should have been easy. You just need to match them. Come on. That doesn't take that much work. Okay, and number 4. This is where you might have had problems. So, for number 9, graph it. Now remember, you need to draw enough points, which this person did not. Shame on them. You need to graph it. Now, I personally wouldn't have gone the whole way. Personally, I would have done this. Get rid of you. Go by. I don't like you. All right. I personally would have. What you need to do is you just need to draw enough so that you can see it curving. What you don't want to see is like this. Because now all that does is it looks like it's going straight into the ground. You want to show that it's curving off, like you're landing a plane. You need to land the plane by curving it off onto the runway. Okay? So, you're going to put arrows in both directions. You need to have arrows. You need to label your equation. And then since there's arrows in both directions, you're going to write all real numbers. Now, the range is probably the hardest part. So remember, range, we use the letter y. And now you ask yourself, well, what's it curving over? Do you see how the line is curving over 0? Do you see like when it's 0? So then that's how it tells me to write a 0. And now all you have to do is ask yourself, where do you see this graph? Is this graph above this line or is this graph below this line? It's above it. So then you write greater than. You never, ever, ever put the line for these. Never. Don't ever put the line for these. Because is it ever actually going to touch that line? No, it's never going to touch that line, ever. Your calculator sometimes lies to you and says it's going to touch 0 or 2 or 5 or -3, whatever it is. It's not actually. It's just getting so close to it, it rounds it. It's never going to touch it. So this curve that you drew can never touch that line. The arrowhead can, but the curve can't. Okay? And then the last part, all you had to do was type this straight in your calculator, and there's your answer. Remember, 4 squared is 16, and then you just multiply the exponents. When you divide, you get 4. Where do you see more x's, top or bottom? Bottom. 6 minus 4 is 2, but since there were more on the bottom, keep them on the bottom. Where are there more y's? Bottom. 4 minus 3 is 1, but since there's more on the bottom, keep it on the bottom. And where are there more z's on top? 7 minus 2 is 5, and since there's more on top, keep it on top. So again, now to watch the actual lesson, you have to click on the other video. Okay, bye guys.